Yes, it's John G. Sutton here. Tales from the Jails. Today I'm going to talk about two things. First, I'm going to discuss the transgender issue that we had at Scotland with that particular prisoner that I discussed yesterday. And then I'm going to discuss the death penalty again, because I've got an interesting take on that will enable you to get further advice. I'll put that in a link down below here. Yeah, it'll be linked. It'll say the Hangman, and there's a connection to that. Click on that and it'll take you to something that you'll be delighted to hear. I'm absolutely sure you will. Yeah, anyway, and thanks for your comments. Yeah, getting plenty of comments here. A couple of observations as well. But by the way, my parents were married, just for those in doubt, Larry. And by the way, if you're going to come on the 31st at 7 p.m. here for the Q&A session, get your questions ready, please. I will do my very best to answer as honestly as I possibly can. I mean, don't forget, I have no notes. You'll probably notice that I don't stick to a script. I go wandering off at a tangent. That's because I haven't got any notes. I'm just talking to you as it comes to me as I go through this. Having done a little bit of research beforehand, of course, and cast my memory back. So when I talk about historical aspects of life that in the jails as I knew them, what you're getting is a recollection. It isn't something from my previously prepared script, because John ain't got one. I don't really need one, do I? When you're telling the truth, that's all you need, isn't it? Yeah. And thanks to all those who made observations about Derek Acora. Listen, when I started with Derek Acora, he'd followed me around for about 2 years, because I used to put shows on all over the country. I was managing a psychic called James Byrne at the time. Some of you may recall I did a show with James Whale on ITV, the James Whale radio show. I was on there and we did a psychic experiment in which the psychic I was working with at the time, James Byrne, projected his psychic powers over the airwaves, and people rang in to give them descriptions of exactly what happened. It was quite an amazing success, that. We did it also with the Sunday People. That was another paper that we worked with, a set time for projection of psychic powers. And yeah, it was, and I was doing all this kind of stuff and writing books for HarperCollins on the supernatural. And so basically that's how I encountered Derek Acora. He kept following me around to venues, and him and his wife were asking me to manage him. Eventually, when I stepped away from managing the other guy, because he wanted to put his feet up and get married, I agreed to take Derek Acora, and within 6 months I got him a publishing deal. I got him on television in Hollywood. I got him a big stage show in Hollywood at the Vogue Theatre. I got him a TV series in the UK, and suddenly, from being an obscure 30 bob a time psychic in the back streets of Liverpool to being on international television with a major book being published. And it went to his head. He became a diva, a tool of the producers of the television shows who wanted him to act stupid and pretend to be possessed by all manner of creatures. One of them was, of course, Dick Turpin. I'm sure he did that for a bet, by the way. Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. Yeah. And that other one he did, was it? Creed Kafer. That was an anagram of Derek Faker. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Creed Kafer, Derek Acora. See it, yeah. And somebody set him up with that. They gave him a load of duff information about this so-called jailer at Bodmin Jail, who'd been there in the 18th century, 19th century. Who was a South African called Creed Kafer. Well, it wasn't. It was an anagram of Derek Faker. And he picked up on that, and he faked that he'd been possessed by the imaginary jailer. So it was a setup really to set Derek Akora up to make him look exactly what he was, a complete fake. Anyway, let me get on to today's subject. See, we're wandering all over the place here. I've got no notes there just ain't any. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about a programme that was on BBC Radio 4 this morning. It was on a programme called Witness History. I highly recommend that you go and look at that. But I will put a link below, and there were played former interviews that they got on the archives of the BBC with the hangman Albert Piripoint. Now, Albert Piripoint used to hang people at Strangeways Jail, and there were people who were working at Strangeways Jail who actually knew Piripoint when he was hanging people there. And he was a Yorkshireman actually, from Huddersfield was where he was born and educated, and his father and his uncle before him had been hangmen. And anyway, you'll hear, don't let me spoil the interview for you. I'll put a link to the interview. It only lasts about 10 minutes. It's called BBC World Service / bbcworldservice.com/witness history. And the link is below, and that takes you straight to the Albert Piripoint interview. It's only 10 minutes. He talks about his belief that the death penalty is it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work. I mean, all it does is stop people from committing any more, but that's rather an abrupt halt, isn't it? It doesn't deter people from committing crimes, and in that respect, the death penalty is little more than society taking revenge. And I believe it says somewhere, "Revenge is mine, saith the Lord." Not that I'm a great believer in all that, but I do believe that we should not be seeking revenge on our fellow human beings. Unless, of course, they transgress and you've got to twat the bastards. Yeah, then I can see that, I mean, I've done a bit of that. You've got to do, haven't you? If you're a jailer and somebody kicks off, and what are you going to do? Oh, I know. Well, if you're one of these hostesses, that they've got there these days, go, oh, come on, Judith, we're going into the cardoma. We're going to hide behind the desk. Give over. Give me a table end, and I went into one altercation at Wormwood Scrubs. It was in the hostel just outside the gate. There was a big punch up there. A big punch up at the Scrubs in the hostel. And what happened was I turned up there with my mate Big John, and these inmates in the hostel were battling away, bashing each other. And John went in, and they were in the lounge at the unit there. He didn't grab hold of any inmates. He grabbed hold of the television that was on a stand in the corner of the room, picked it up and threw it against the wall. It splattered into 1,000 pieces. And all the inmates shouted, "No, don't do that." He said, I ain't finished yet. Then he got the pool table and started to smash that to bits. They all stopped. And then when they'd stopped, John gave him a good slap and sent them back. So that was how he dealt with people who were misbehaving. You want to fight? Well, you're causing damage here. Let me show you how to cause damage. That was a strange experience, that. There's various other aspects of the death penalty that you should consider. I mean, the effect that it has on the people who are actually undertaking this. In the case of Albert Piripoint, he's a very down-to-earth Yorkshireman, but the staff who had to sit into the condemned cells, they told me that it was quite onerous. It affected them. They got a special, a week's leave after that was finished, so they could get over it. And I did speak to one member of staff who was in the condemned cell at Strangeways, and the previous hangman at Strangeways, James Ellis, he killed himself. He slashed his own throat his second attempt at murdering himself. Finally succeeded, suicided, and now his ghost walks the landings, and it really does. I have seen that ghost. So anyway, that's my little bit about the death penalty today and Albert Piripoint, and the link is down below. Okay, now I want to talk about the inmate in Scotland. Nicholas Stungun made a statement to the Scottish National Party and the Scottish Parliament yesterday, saying that this particular inmate would not be serving his sentence in a female prison. I should think not. If you've got the old block and tackle and you're in there with a lot of female inmates, you're going to be using it, aren't you? I would think he would. And, I mean, was it Brendan Behan? Yeah, in his song The Old Triangle, he wrote about that, didn't he? In the female prison there are 75 women, and among them I wish I did dwell. Then the old triangle could go jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Yeah. So Nicholas Stungun finally woke up from her stupor and decided that this was very bad publicity. Imagine what the Scottish people are thinking about. What on earth is going on here? If we put Nicholas Stungun in charge of us, what we're going to have, eh? People walking around in blonde wigs, blokes, big fat blokes in blonde wigs, pretending to be women and raping them. Madness, folks. It's a crazy world. Yeah, anyway, it's that time of day. By the way, are you paying attention? I've lost the song, don't you? I can't. Oh, it's here. No, it's not. Where is it? Where's the song dinger gone? I can't find it. It was on here. Anyway, I'll just have to ding dong ding here. It's very disappointing, that, isn't it? Ding ding ding. Pay attention at the back. Larry, put that away. Shouldn't be playing with that when I'm lecturing. Do you hear me? And leave that goat alone. I've had complaints from the shepherds in Yorkshire. Man in wellies, hailing from Rotherham, seeks goat. Gosh. Good sense of humour. Yeah, right. Anyway, so ding, 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 ding. I can't find me sing dong dinger. I don't know where the hell I've put it. Maybe my wife's tied it up. I don't know. She does. I mean, there's some stuff on my desk, I tell you. It's like a tip. I was only tidying, so it hasn't been tidied up since 1880. Look what I found the other day. A Colt 45, yeah. What's it say here? Property of Wild Bill Hickok. Right, okay, well, there we go. So that must have been who owned this office before I moved in. Right, I'm going to sing a song now, you lucky people. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. If you're still around now, well, I've tried, haven't I? I have tried. Come on. Yeah. This is a song. I heard it performed by the Dubliners. I've been doing a few Irish type songs, but this is a Scottish song, I believe. This is Nancy Whiskey. I've done this before, but I like this song, so here you go. And I have warned you, so if you're still around, good. And don't forget, on the 31st of January at 7 p.m, we're going to do a Q&A here. So get your questions ready for me, and I'll do my very best to answer. And don't forget, there's a link down here, to my book, HMP Manchester Prison Officer. And if you do read it and you enjoy it, please leave me a review on Amazon. That's very kind of you folks. Yeah. Anyway, see you now. Larry's just left the room. Off onto the moors. Nancy Whiskey. Oh, I'm a weaver, a Calton weaver. I'm a rash and a roving blade. I've got silver in my pocket, and I follow the roving trade. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Now I came in by Glasgow City. Nancy whiskey, I chanced to smell. I went in, sat down beside her. 7 long years I loved her well. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. The more I kissed her, the more I loved her. The more I loved her, the more she smiled. I forgot my mother's teaching. Nancy soon had me beguiled. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. When I awoke in the early morning to quench my thirst, it was my need. Tried to rise, but I was not able. Nancy whiskey had me by the knees. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Come on, landlady, what's me owing? Tell me what there is to pay. 15 shillings is a reckoning. Pay quickly, and then I'm on my way. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Come on, ye weavers, ye Calton weavers. Come on, young men, where'er ye be. Beware of whiskey, Nancy whiskey. She'll ruin you like she ruined me. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Well, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed that. And if you did, see me on the sick parade tomorrow morning. I reckon we can cure you. Thank you very much. Tales from the Jails. Hey, and have a look at my TikTok channel, Jailer John. See you now.